I find myself around 5 years ago in front of 1,000 people at the CPA 1 conference delivering a keynote presentation. 1,000 people. So what do I focus on to 1,000 people? I focus on getting ready by delivery. My voice, my movement, my eye contact. And what I don't focus as much on is design of the presentation. And it was one of those what went wrongs that I quickly learned the importance of design in your presentation. And actually, it's its own profession. It's called instructional design. And so when I delivered that CPA 1 conference presentation keynote, I had to overcome some of my own design obstacles in the sense that I had not considered certain things that you should before you start working on delivery. Again, a lot of people focus on delivery. Just like Jerry Seinfeld's joke, most people fear public speaking over death. That means they'd rather be at a funeral in the casket than giving the eulogy. We don't spend enough time on design. And this particular module, this video, is really on emphasizing the effort and time spent in designing your presentation to make it effective in a very specific way. And a couple things. I told you this story at the beginning because there's two reasons. One, I designed that story to tell you at the beginning because you'll connect the message. Design is important to storytelling. That's actually research that shows storytelling wrapped around a message can help you with your memory of the message. The other reason is to really tell you that design is important. It's something that as a profession in the business community, we don't always spend time with. So my job today in this short little video is to actually help you think about design in a very specific way, to give you real tangible ways to focus on design before you start working on delivery or before you start to write, edit, produce in PowerPoint. When we think design in our profession, we think PowerPoint. But the idea of PowerPoint, if we make a metaphor to film, is if a director of your favorite film took a camera and just started filming everything around the room and then said, I'm going to make a movie out of this, without having the actors, the plot, the producer, having none of it, but just having all the footage. Well, that's how we use PowerPoint. We just kind of write, edit, produce in PowerPoint and kind of hope we see something that comes out of it that will help our message. Generally, what you see are all of the bugaboos or all the things that frustrate you when you watch a PowerPoint presentation. Too much on the slide, what's the message, person reading. And so we're not talking about PowerPoint here. What we're going to talk about are 3 parts of the design process. And really, we're going to spend time on 2. Pre-production, critical. We're going to spend a tiny bit on production, which is where a lot of people already spend their time. That's PowerPoint. But we're going to spend time on pre-production, a little bit of production, but the other part, post-production. And I'm using film terminology as a metaphor because that's what you're doing when you're designing a presentation. You're the writer, director, producer. You are designing something that's a story. So consider yourselves the producer, director of your own film. So we're going to begin with pre-production. So we're going to look at pre-production first. And we're going to ask some specific questions as a diagnostic, just to gather information, just like you would do in film, to figure out, should we green light, that's a terminology in film, should we go forward with production? The first question we're going to ask is who? And this is really who is our audience. Now, you can download this pre-production worksheet that I've made available for you, which can help you gather all this information. So that's available for download if you purchase the video. Who is going to be asked in a very specific way, which is what is the knowledge, expertise of the audience? Do they know the topic of your presentation or do they not know? Are they junior personnel? Are they senior personnel? Are they someone who is hostile to your message? Maybe it's a really difficult message that you're giving through your presentation. Are they friendly? Are they neutral? So you're going to go and look at that pre-production worksheet and it's going to ask very specific information about your audience. And if you don't know that about your audience, it's okay not to write anything, but it might be something you want to figure out. But it's really about who your audience is. Because if you don't know who your audience is and you start to produce something, just like in film, you might produce something that is for the wrong audience, not the right audience, something that really the people that you want to appreciate don't appreciate. So who?